What is this telling me to do here? Okay, they want me to do it this way. All right, there we go. We're live and in focus. I want the focus to be more so on you than me.
Okay.
One of the main questions I always ask when I start a conversation, how did it all begin for you?
You know, that's the same question I ask other people when I'm interviewing them also.
Right, but now you're on the other side tonight.
Yes, now on the other side.
See, the boss is being interviewed tonight.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I've always had a love for radio. Always had. And my brother used to tell me how I used to be up at night with my little pink earphones listening to the radio, transistor radio.
Yes.
And one time I actually called myself building a radio. I took an old cologne box and took the radio parts out of it and put it in the cologne box because it was see-through, so I could have something different.
Yes.
But it started for me there that I had the love of radio, and I was working on a job, a roller company.
Wait a minute, this is as a child?
No, when I got older. The love of the radio was...
Okay, but before we get to that point, when you were growing up, did you listen to radio a lot?
Absolutely.
Who were the favorite people that you listened to? Because we all had favorites.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, your list was my list. Yeah.
We thought they were larger than life, didn't we?
Yes, but when you saw them, the face never matched the voice.
Never.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's what you look like. Yeah, somebody told me one time they thought I was white. You know, so I'm
Like the first time I saw Butterball,
went into shock.
I was like,
Same with Basil. Yeah.
Well, I was floored.
Yeah, with Basil too.
Yes.
He was different and had a ponytail. We didn't know, But yeah, I listened to the same people that
Were
you listened to.
Were you curious within your mind as to how you could become one of them?
That happened later.
Okay.
But while I was listening to him, I was just in the moment intrigued and listening to the radio. The radio is the theater of your mind.
Most definitely.
And so you can listen to the radio and go anywhere.
Yes.
So I enjoyed that. And coming up in church mostly all my life, I just knew a lot of the music. Going to First Church, Love, Faith, and Deliverance.
You were there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Too? You were there?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, John was there.
Were you raised up in First Church?
For a good bit of my life, yeah. My mother used to tell me, you don't go to church for the Lord. You come to church to hear that organ. Because I was just fascinated by the organ in the church at the time. Yeah.
When you were at church, right, and you would hear the preachers preach or hear the music, what would be going through your mind?
Well, to be honest with you, it wasn't the preacher preaching. It was the music.
Well, hold on for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, just give us 1 second. I have Apostle John Lawson live in studio. I had to open up his microphone. You said it was the music that brought you.
The music that drew me in. I was just flabbergasted by that organ, the sound of the Hammond organ, and I would sit right beside that Leslie speaker and just love it all,
Were you a musician yourself?
At the time, no. No, I started in school about 11 years old. I just always loved the organ. I started on the organ, not the piano. Most people start on the piano when you graduate to the organ. But I just loved the organ. I couldn't believe somebody was playing like that, and I'm sitting here listening to them.
Where did you attend school?
I went to Douglas and went to Gratz. And I did music the whole time in school too. And Gratz, we had an accelerated course, like second year of college in music, still in high school.
What college did you attend?
No,
secondary. Gotcha.
Yeah. And but I did go to Settlement Music School.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who actually went to Settlement. I took voice lessons there.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Growing up.
I had a guy at the chest tales from you one time. He said, so you went to Settlement? I said, yeah. I remember my teacher's name was Miss Clendenning. And I was playing some music one time, and she said, Frederick, you're not reading that music. I'm like, well, how you know? Because your head is on your hands and not on the music. I'm like, not totally. Why don't you play it? I mean, I was a smart kid. But one guy told me it was a drop when I stopped doing classical contemporary to do gospel. Start playing gospel
Yeah,
music.
because they had this, for some reason, they had this sneerish attitude toward gospel singers, preachers, gospel music, like it wasn't worth anything.
Right. Right.
That was their attitude. You're going to do gospel.
That's what he said. I
Good
was offended.
luck.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
I was offended by that. Yeah.
Yes. So how did you become a musician?
Well, when I was in junior high school, my teacher, Dolores Scarrett, they had the pointer system where you put a piece of cardboard on the table, another piece on the floor, and you act like you're playing notes and stuff. And so I just loved it. It got to the point where she had me showing other students what to do. Then I went home and told my mom the biggest lie. I said, my teacher said, I need something to practice on at home. So she went out, we went down Chestnut Street to the music store down there, and she got me a Laurie organ where she had to pay like $7 and something a month for it.
And boy, you better learn.
Guess what?
You know how they talk.
That's why I don't know sports today.
You're gonna learn
I was
this
home
thing,
learning
yes.
music, so I didn't learn anything about sports until I was a grown man. Okay, because then I had to tell myself, well, when people playing sports, they don't know music, so everything's good.
Did you have a recital after you learned how to play, or were you just introduced into playing in the church?
Well, I always loved the sound of church. And I did a recital to try to get into Overbrook at the time, but they only had like a couple slots left. And a good friend of mine, I'm going to mention his name. He's a good brother, but him and his sister played horns. And they played the horns and did such a fantastic job. It just took my slot away. So I didn't get into Overbrook. But my music teacher, Mr. Bonash, he gave us so much music. We used to take two pianos, one piano out the back room and the piano in the classroom, and we would just play both of them back to back. That's that. I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but he was just sharpening our skills and just, hey, let's play this in another key, and so love it.
Now, while you're honing your skills as a musician, see, I'm sticking with the narrative here in my mind.
Sure.
While you're honing your skills as a musician, within your mind, did you think about becoming that broadcaster, that commentator?
No, even to today, a lot of people don't know that I play because I kept it separate, So I love to play, and I still play for a church today. And the broadcasting thing was like my livelihood. It was my life, actually. And I'll say this. A lot of people think just because you do radio that you're all right.
Well, that's what they think anyway.
They think your bank account is all right.
That's what they think.
I did an interview, I think the program's called Gospel Legends. It's on YouTube. Guy came in, he's going across the country, and he wanted to know my story. And we sat down and talked at Reverend Joe Williams' church. So we'll check it out. It's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll check it out.
And
yes.
I told him, and he appreciated it. I said, listen, everything that was on at my house that could be shut off, it was for the sake of the ministry. Okay? I remember one time they, was coming to shut the water off, and I had 4 girls. And I said, well, we're going to have to get to the next paycheck, fill the bathtub up, whatever we need to do, They came out, gave me the slip where they shut the water off. But when I turned the handle, the water was still running. I said, now, your slip says off, thank you, God. It's still running.
That's right.
so it wasn't on me.
You trying to get in the apostle?
I'm loving this interview.
Okay. Do you remember your first job in radio, and how did it happen?
Yes, my first job in radio, I remember talking to Marilyn Ings.
Oh, yes.
And
I remember
she was
her.
over at WIBF.
That's the truth. Yes.
And because the church had a broadcast over there. And I told her I was interested in doing some things at radio. What I did at home was I would have a tape recorder in the basement, and I had my mixer upstairs. My tape recorder was my audience in the basement. And I had my microphones, my mixer and everything. And I was recording programs and listening back to it myself. So that was my audience, my tape recorder.
Yes.
The things that we did, to get into this business.
Yeah, we had to be creative.
Yeah. So she told me there's two ways you can get into this business. One is to go to school with no guarantee, or you can volunteer your time and see what happens. She said, because a lot of times you volunteer in your time, a position may come up, something may come up, but at least your foot is in the door. And so that's how I started off, volunteering my time. I used to go over to WSSJ in Camden, New Jersey, with the late Charles Grundy. He didn't know much about gospel at the time, but I went over there and sat there and talked to him and told him, look, man, I'm a musician. I'd like to help you out, blah, 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 blah. They had a transmitter fire at the time, so they were not using the microphone. But I was pulling records for him, telling him, try this. His numbers went up, And then when he was ready to go, I figured I was going to have a shoe in. But I guess the Lord said no. I got a phone call about another station that needed somebody to go up there in Chester. And I went up there to carry the guy up there to do the program. Long story short, he was not doing what he should have been doing. And I started doing the program. I would get there like an hour early. And so when he was working the shift, the boss, the guy, other announcers, they would say to the boss, this guy's always late. He said, but Fred Blain, he has a program he does called the World Late Night Gospel. He's here an hour before time. The phones are ringing before he can even get in the door. But this other guy, no one never calls. He's always late. And I can't get out the station on time. And the boss said, well, who is Fred Blain? So he didn't know I was.
So basically, he didn't even know you existed.
He didn't know I existed.
Right.
And long story short, the boss told the guy, take the keys from the other guy. And he called me up. He told me he was the owner and license holder for the station and everything. I was like, his name is Victor Mark. And I was like, okay. Long story short, I ended up getting the program 4 nights a week, brokerage time. I paid for the time. And, running commercials and everything. And the other guy was gone.
Before you continue, now listen, ladies and gentlemen, this was during the time when they were using reel-to-reels,
Oh, yes.
8-track tapes,
Yes.
cartridges.
Cartridges.
It's a one-person, one-man operation.
Learn how to do everything.
So you had to do everything. This was not we're not talking about modern broadcasting here.
We didn't have computer address.
Nothing.
Not at all.
You had notes all over the place.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So I broke the time, and I was selling time for the program, to pay for the program, because I had a bill to meet to pay, this guy.
That's right.
And still have a wife and kids, working my job, and going up there doing that program to the point where I was exhausted. Almost lost my life a couple times, falling asleep behind the wheel. And the doctor told me one time, he said, listen, which job pays the bread and butter? I said, my main job, the one at night is, he said, well, you got to make a decision which one you're going to let go. And I was like, okay. But then I heard about Gospel Highway 11 had come on the air. And I went to meet with Basil to tell him. Look,
Now, for those who don't know, tell them who Basil was.
Basil started Gospel Highway 11. He was the founder.
Yes.
He created the format of Gospel Highway 11. Well, this year is the 50th anniversary of the station. And so
What was his first impression of you when he met you?
the first thing he asked me was, how do I know about this music? He wanted to know somebody who, do I club? Do I go to the clubs? Do I play, R&B on the weekends and just gospel? I was like, no, gospel's all I know. I don't know. So he was impressed. He was really impressed. He started running out names of who this song, that song, and I was telling him all about it. So he was He was really impressed. But what happened was, what I did not know was, and you can pull my coattail from talking to me.
No, because no. Listen, I got you. I'm right here with you.
Okay. Okay.
I won't do to you like they did to me when first time I preached in the Baptist church as a teenager. There, pulling the coattail.
Yeah.
I won't do that to you.
That little tug. Yeah. So the doctor told me I had to make a choice. Gospel Higher 11 came into play, and I went to meet with Basil, and he said, I called up. I was trying to be an announcer. Okay.
Yes.
And so I met with Ori Farrell. He was his general manager at the time. And so they said, we got a lot of people knocking on this door. Well, they had only been on the air a month. Okay. We got a lot of people knocking on the door trying to get on the air here. We need salespeople, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I already got a show. I already got a show. I'm on, at that time, they backed down to 4 nights a week. So Monday through Thursday. It was 5 nights a week. So I said, I'm not like everybody else coming trying to get over here. I already got a show.
Yes.
And so, long story short, Basil rode out to Chester to listen because I was on at night. And I didn't know, but he called me up and he said, listen, you out there selling gypsy radio at night, supporting yourself in the program, you can come over here and sell time for us because at least people can hear you during the day. And he wanted to put me on Saturday for 2 hours. And he gave me a contract, wanted me to do the same thing to buy time, And I thought about it. Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, when I left Basil, I'm riding down the turnpike with the contract in my hand. And I stuck it out the window and said, God, this is not what you have for me. I don't believe this is what you have for me. And I had the contract in my hand. So they was offering me the brokerage time for 2 hours on Saturday. And I was leaving the Chester thing because I had sleep. And so, long story short, the time on Saturday was sold out. I was selling it all out. There was nothing left. And Basil was like, don't you know you're selling for the rest of the station too? I'm like, no, sir. No.
You sold all the time for
All the
Saturday,
time for
probably
Saturday.
into Sunday.
Yeah. And so, and I was doing a 2 hour show on Saturday. So I was selling the time on my program. Okay. And so he said, no, you can put some of that, advertisement throughout the rest of the station. And that's when he offered me a salesperson job. And so I was like, I don't know about that. And so then he said, listen, you can come on the air from 2 to 4 every day and still sell for the station. Okay, so that means I would leave my regular job. Make a long story short, I said, well, God.
Was the contract that you signed more negotiable than the contract you already had with your regular job?
No, my regular job, we didn't have a contract where I was working at.
Okay, got you.
And Basil didn't offer me a contract either. It was like, we're a startup station. We don't even have health care yet, but we're going to be working on that. Now, the job I was on, we just got HMO. We had just got HMO for my wife and kids. And
Yes.
I'm leaving that to go to a job with no health insurance. People told me I was out of my mind. But I did it.
Okay, now, conventional wisdom leads me to ask this question. What did the missus think?
I'm going to tell you. The missus said, I'm going to pray that every door be shut in your face.
Because women think differently.
Absolutely.
Because they think in terms of stability,
Yes.
comfort,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah, so she said, I'm going to pray every door be shut in your face if it's not for you. Of course, my thought was, I'm trying to do something here. But the way it worked out.
Before you continue, it's important that, especially those who are in the world of Christendom, in the gospel world,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to know that when we are moving in directions that we would not ordinarily go into, it's because we believe deep within our hearts that the Holy Spirit is directing us.
Yes.
to go.
Yeah.
So we're not operating the way most people operate.
As I look back over my life, no, because I was
Because
still
conventional wisdom would say you don't leave.
right.
Right.
You don't. You don't. Not especially if you don't have health care.
Yes.
You know, that's talking about stepping out on faith. You know, that's taking a step and there's nothing here to catch you.
Yes.
You know, I was on the bad list at my job because I was on the phone during our breaks trying to close deals, selling radio time. They be banging us out the phone booth. Man, come on, man. You know, yeah, but I was still trying to make it happen. Yeah, trying to make it happen.
How long did this grind last for you?
A good while.
Between the job and Gospel Highway 11, by being a startup station at that time.
I would say, I can tell exactly when. So I got my license in '82, back when you had to read the book. You know,
And take the test.
there you go.
Because I was at the American Academy of Broadcasting.
You know.
So I know.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah. And so in '82, and I think it was '84 was when I went to the highway. When I first went there in '84. So it was like 2 years.
When did you really feel comfortable that you were in the will of God there?
That's a question. Because I always felt like I'm only holding this down for the real person to come. I never got comfortable. When Basil passed, and I was a sales manager, and everybody was saying, because the company was down south that owned the Gospel Highway 11.
Yes.
And everybody was saying, well, what are we going to do? And when I talked to people down there, they said, well, we'll have somebody up there in 3 months. I said, okay. But in my mind, I said, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'll answer your questions because if I tell you, then I won't have a job,
That's true.
But as time went on, they finally said, you're doing fine. We're not going to send anybody up.
Well, how long were you there before Basil's departure?
Basil passed in '87.
Oh, so you had been there like about 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there in '84, about 3 years. Yeah, '84. Yeah.
Well, he was a vessel that God used to plant you.
Yeah, because he said to me one time, he said, as long as I have an umbrella, as long as he had an umbrella, I was able to stand under it.
Amen.
Because he said, a lot of people, I wouldn't let him stand under my umbrella. Because we had an accountant that came to me one time, and he says, Fred, what motivates you? I said, why do you ask that? He said, because if you're not selling time for this station, the doors will close. And I'm thinking the other people are doing stuff, but he's looking at the books. He said, you're the only one that's bringing money in to the station. And I told him, I said, man, don't tell me that. You just put so much pressure on me. I didn't even know that, because every time somebody tell me no, I'm going, well, you can't tell me no.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, and like you hear the church lingo sometimes that says, I wouldn't take nothing for my journey, because God has really blessed me in this business of radio and to be relevant in the same market for 42 years. I used to talk against internet radio because I was already on the AM side, and it's amazing that my wife had asked me, what are you going to do? You get close to retirement. What are you going to do? I'm like, oh, I don't know. You got to do something. I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know. And then the Lord opened up this avenue for me to be able to be.
Okay, wait a minute. Before you get to that point, Basil is off the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically the top guy now.
Mm-hmm.
How long from that point up until the time you made the transition to internet radio?
Let's see. Basil, he passed in '87. The station closed their doors on the AM side in '21.
Now, during that space, what was happening? What was going on? Because I remember Gospel Highway 11 very well.
What was going on? It was survival for the station. We were, surviving on a shoestring budget, trying to act like we were a great big FM station.
Yes.
We literally had, money. We couldn't compete with them. But I was the program director and general manager. And there's many days I worked from can't see to can't see, getting in the station when it's dark and leaving the station when it's dark.
Amen.
I remember one time I checked my registration of my car. It had been expired for like 6 months. I didn't know because I was always moving in the dark,
Yes.
But that went on, trying to keep the station relevant. And I had a lot of people to come through the doors. And I had one person tell me, I've been in radio a long time. I'm over here making this bubblegum money. I said, well, you knew it was bubblegum money when you accepted it.
That is true. Yep.
Yeah. And I said, the people, a lot of people that are here, they do this on the side. They do it on the side.
See, I'm going to tell you something a lot of folk don't realize. And this is just real facts, ladies and gentlemen. When black people are breaking into the industry, they want to hold us to a different standard. They move the goalpost so far, and because they think we can't reach and make the touchdowns. And when we deal with the comparative aspect of monies and things of that nature, they don't want us to know how much money we can make in this business if we have the proper guidance and mentoring. So we end up becoming our own mentor.
True.
We end up becoming self-driven, and we find creative ways and means to sustain ourselves. But because we have a divine call and a passion for what we do, we stick to it.
We stick to it. I remember, I can't think of the guy's name now. He used to own HAT at one point. And they said he would buy radio stations like changing his shoes. And he was a brother.
Yes.
And I went to a conference one time in D.C. trying to find money for Gospel Highway 11, trying to find a grant for it.
Yes.
And he said something that was very interesting. He said to a room full of general managers and owners, he said, whoever your salesperson is, the key person that's making money for you, you should give them some stock in the company, because just like they making it for you, they can go out here and make this for themselves.
Yes.
They don't really need you, but in order to keep them, you should treat them very well. Okay.
I remember the brother you're talking about very well.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember him very well.
Yeah. And so I said that
Because people didn't think that he could buy the station.
right.
But he fooled them.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
did it anyway. We'll talk off there.
Okay.
But he did it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he flipped the script and went to all talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. And so, because talk is cheaper.
Yes.
People say talk doesn't mean nothing. Talk is cheaper, but you
Yes.
got to deal with licensing fees and this
Yes.
fee and that fee and every other fee. Talk is cheaper, so that's why they do it. Yeah, for those who don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, I wouldn't take nothing for the journey, and it's still a learning process. Okay, and no man is an island. You learn from this person, you learn from that person, you learn from that person, and you kind of put it all together, but you never take credit for it all yourself.
Amen. That's right. Now, once Gospel Highway 11 decided to close its doors forever, so to speak, what was your next move?
Well, when they talked about closing the doors forever, I said to them, we have the internet side that's striving. A lot of people listen on the internet, and you're going to shut down the AM side because you're selling the property. I said, the internet side, where are those people going to go? And I said, if you don't mind, I don't mind taking over the internet side, and so that's when the Lord stepped in and did some fantastic things, because I didn't have any startup money for a radio station.
Yes.
Because you need equipment. And someone was telling me to start up an internet station, you need, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to do it. So
And that's just the base.
that's the base. And so, being general manager at the station, I had just brought new computers, and so they told me, take whatever you need. We don't want it.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just like that. And I was already blessed with an IT person that was working with us who could hook up all this stuff, you know.
Yes.
And so I said, well, okay. And so he came to the station and said, we're going to need this, we're going to need this, you know, like he was in the store, you know. It's like, well, I can't wait to get this set up, you know. And the day Linwood Heath, I never remember, the late Linwood Heath, the day
Oh, yeah, I remember him very well.
that we shut the transmitter off, he was videotaping. He said, we're about to shut the transmitter off and we're going to be online now. Because we're already online, like I said, for almost 20 years. When internet stations online sound horrible. You know, I waited. I started to mention another station that was on telling people, we're online. And it sounded like it was in a tin can. I'm like, oh, no, I'll just
Yes.
wait till it gets better.
Yeah.
Technology gets a little better. And it did. It is phenomenal now. And so,
And you know what? It's going to get even better because with the advent of micro optics and AI and the creative aspect of how communications is ever evolving, pretty soon
Yes.
the sound will be so crisp and so clear, you'll think the person is right there with you.
yeah, just like television. When they started doing HD, high definition television, and everybody was screaming that all my blemishes are going to show up now.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're right. Just like we went from analog to digital, you know, and it's always evolving.
Because the early days, the majority of the AM stations, they were totally analog. That's what they dealt with back then because most of your station owners made their money. Georgie Woods and Mary Mason and Louise Williams and Butterball and what's the other brother's name? His name, you had Carl Helms
Carl Helm.
back in the day. The AM side was how we all listened during that time.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Every now and then we would hear, you know, the secular music on FM.
Yeah, Rose Howard. Yeah,
Yes, but we stayed on the AM.
AM. That's
frequency
what the gospel was.
all the time.
And the respect is not there because a lot of times the station, a combo station, the AM side was just a write-off, okay? And because all those times I was trying to, you know, make it happen, trying to get Coca-Cola to be our sponsor and everything, and they want to know, well, you have an FM side? I said, no. I said, well, all of our spots on the AM is just dumped from the FM side. In other words, we run by time on the FM side, and we give some stuff, you know, the FM side gives some stuff to the AM side so they can sound good. Okay? So a lot of stations are still folding up and going dark on the AM side playing gospel because there's a support. People don't understand that the brought to you buys pays the bills. And the truth of the matter is where Gospel Highway 11 was going, I had another guy came to me and he was talking about maybe keeping the station going in another location and everything, and would I be the general manager of it? And I told him no. He said, why you say that? I said, because financially, I see the handwriting on the wall. Okay? A lot of companies and a lot of people don't want to support a religious station. I was telling people, I told some people that early on, they were trying to buy some time on the station from the previous owners of the station. And I told them the station format had changed. And when I told them it was gospel now, the lady actually choked on the phone. Yeah. And she said, well, I'll get back to you on that. Okay. And she got back to me.
You know what, Fred? What you're saying is so true because people don't realize convincing advertisers to invest, like when Bob Johnson convinced advertisers to invest in BET.
Yes.
Now, there were two flagship programs that they had. You had Video Soul with Donnie Simpson, the DJ that they recruited from Washington, D.C., and Bobby Jones, and Bobby Jones Gospel.
Right.
And the reason why both of them were so successful because it was black ownership, and they were catering to an untapped audience.
Untapped audience. There you go.
Because one of the main sponsors that Bobby Jones had for years was Dudley from Dudley Hair Care Products.
I know his
know.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah. His brother Clift. He was a preacher.
Yeah.
You
Came to
know?
my uncle's church many times.
Yes. And I've been in his services many times.
Many
And now
times.
you know how Evangelist Dudley was.
Oh
right?
yes. Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna be there a while when he
You're
comes
gonna
to
be there a
town.
while. He's gonna pray for an hour and a half.
Because he's gonna sing "I Need Thee" in 30 minutes. You got an input over there, Apostle?
Well, I just want to touch back
Yes.
to First Church of Love, Faith, and Deliverance.
Yes.
This is their 64th church anniversary. And when you came in tonight, I had to apologize to you because we was out of the same ministry, and I paid you no mind.
I was no mind.
Because I was friends with your mother.
Yes.
And I helped to bring her to the ministry. And so when your name came along, it was when the time you were on radio.
Wow.
And my chest was about to bust out knowing that I knew your mother.
Yeah.
And I said, I know his mother.
Yeah. We're at the church. She stood at the door.
Yeah.
And I would tell people that my mom used to go and listen to Rosie Wallace when she was in concert or in different programs. Then she found out about 29th and Diamond. She said, they got a church over there.
Because I used to talk to her about it all the time.
Yeah.
Your mother was a hairdresser.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll be in that shop talking about Rosie Wallace in the First Church of Love, Faith, Deliverance only. And she said, I'm going to come one day. And she can't come. And she was there ever since.
But you know why she came? She said, because I don't have to buy a ticket now. I can hear her sing for free.
Now, I do want to ask you this. Okay, now Gospel Highway 11, it's off the AM frequency. When did you first, quote unquote, turn on the switch for it? Now you're the owner, you're the morning man, you the commentator, you're the broadcaster, you're the GM. When did you first turn the switch on?
Well, honestly, the switch was already on.
Okay, well, when did you make the transition?
We just cut off the AM side.
Yes.
That was the 1st of March, 2021.
Wow, time does move, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been 5 years now.
So what's it been like for you?
Like I said earlier, I wouldn't take nothing from my journey now. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Because you had to build, basically you had to rebuild a headquarters for yourself, right?
Yeah. The rebuilding of the headquarters.
Yes.
The branding is the same. And when I started talking to some of the engineers behind it, I was going to try to start afresh.
Yes.
And the guy was telling me, you don't want to do that. He said, you have because under the banner of WNAP, on the back end, he said, you have a lot of people listening. And if you start up with something else, you're going to lose all those people. So he said, I suggest you keep that WNAP moniker in the background. I mean, you really don't see that. We don't even mention WNAP, okay? But it's just for the streaming avenue that was built some time ago, okay? And like I said, the company has said to me, as long as nothing's in our name, so nothing's in their name, and there are like 4 WNAPs out there, but everybody's separate, And so that's the reason why we were able to keep going and keep the audience that we had, and just build. We have people listening worldwide.
Yes, you do.
Worldwide, and it's amazing. The first time I saw these numbers, you could almost just scrape me off the floor. Because when you're sitting behind the microphone talking to people, you don't know how many people you're talking to. And I had to consider myself. When I was coming up, I never called a radio station. I was listening, faithful listener, but I never picked up the phone to call. And so I can't get mad at people when the phones don't ring, because I gotta first consider myself. You wasn't calling.
Right. So you can't expect them to call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I have a few mentors out there, and Walter Stewart was one that he mentioned to me. Amen. He mentioned to me one time. He said, if your phones are ringing, that means you're not playing the right stuff. If you're playing the right music, ain't nobody calling you for nothing. I was like, oh, that's one way to look at it too.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, a lot of people don't know this. This was the last station where Walter worked. He retired from here,
Yeah, yeah,
and he did a phenomenal job.
yes, yeah.
He really did. This is where, as a matter of fact, this is where he wanted to end his career because this is where he started it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he started at WHAT, but him and Michael basically trailblazed and broke
Yes.
down these barriers
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That's when the utility closet was their office.
Oh, I know about that too. My first
You shocked over there?
Well,
Yeah.
I am.
Because it's the truth though. These are real stories,
Yeah.
and oftentimes the trailblazers, the pioneers, they get no love, they get no credit, they don't get the rewards,
No,
they
I
don't
will
get the
mention-
money.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about it is a lot of the young broadcasters and people who come up behind them, they get all the accolades.
Yes, they do.
They get all the money.
They get contracts.
They get, I mean, fat contracts. They can't
Yeah.
even talk properly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about somebody, I won't mention the name, but
We know who you're talking about.
they got a huge contract, and I'm wondering, who in the world pays you this kind of money to do nothing virtually?
Unbelievable. I've never had a contract. No.
Because it's, and as a matter of fact, I remember listening to people like Georgia Woods and Mary Mason and Carl Helms and James Brown and Butterball. They said, we don't make the kind of money that you all think that we make.
That's why I had them shows at Uptown.
Thank you. Thank you. And they had, listen, that's where the money came from.
Yeah, yeah. Like artists.
Yes.
You know, like artists. A lot of people think a lot of these artists are living in Fat City, but if they're not touring, they're not really making a lot of money.
Because at the end of the year, when they bring those books, the expenditures books that show them all the money that the label had to put out,
Yeah.
they're like, well, yes, you did make the money, but look how much you owe.
I was telling somebody that not too long ago.
Yes.
They're happy about we got a signing bonus, $10,000 signing bonus. I said, you're $10,000 in the hole because you got to sell enough records to come out of there to pay them
That's
that
the
money
truth.
back
Yes.
before you can even go forward. So that ain't nothing to be happy about.
Stability to me is more important than making a whole lot of money.
Amen. Amen.
You're like, I remember I heard a conversation one time between some professionals, and this is how it ended. So look, you can make a decision to accept all this money, and that's all you're going to get. Or you can play the long game,
Yeah.
where you have a perpetual, a solid income coming in. And incrementally,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised how much you will make over the long haul
Over the long haul.
with stability.
So true.
And that's where a lot of people are missing it at. When people are listening to you via the internet, they don't understand that the man behind the scene has paid the price to be where he is. You're not the morning man for nothing. You're there because you deserve to be there.
By the grace of God, like I
Amen.
said, I always felt like I'm holding this down till the man comes.
No, you're not.
They used to tell me all the time, you. I'm like, oh, this is about us.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments, we're going to end the radio portion of this conversation. And if you want to continue to watch this, you're going to have to go to my YouTube channel at Tyrone Bowman Live, where this conversation with Fred Blain is going to continue. And when we come back, I want to talk about what are the highs and the lows, and what are the greatest experiences that you've had in this industry, and what ultimately you believe what your legacy will comprise of. You're listening to Gospel Legacies over WTMR 800 AM, Camden, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station. My guest this evening is the one and only, the trailblazer, the pioneer, the man, Fred Blain.
Amen. When you were interviewing Gregory Allen, did you know that we used to sing together? I had a group called the John Lawson Singers. And Charles Lyles, Anthony and McGregor, Alfonso Harris, Gregory Allen, and myself. And
I don't think he. I don't think he mentioned there.
yeah, and then I got him. And then I was a member of First Church. I had been a member of First Church since I was 16.
I told him that I used to be a little envious of this guy that would come around there and play.
Oh, wasn't he good?
I didn't know. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
I said, because the church around the corner, and they mentioned, he's over here helping us out today, and
What do you play with, the Baptist Church?
Yeah.
Around Dolphin Street Baptist.
Dolphin Street Baptist, yeah. And I told Greg, I said, I remember this guy I used to sit and go, especially if Forrest wasn't there or something.
So you was on Dolphin Street?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, First Church was down the street.
You was on Dolphin? You?
Yeah. My mother drove me to church. I was there. And I tell you,
You play too much.
I said I was there right beside that Leslie speaker and Forrest was playing, sitting in the corner.
When the church was the opposite way, you
In
was
the
there?
opposite way, yes.
You was there?
Then they flipped it around the other way. I was there when I used to sit there when they used to listen to the radio to see if the broadcast was on yet.
Okay, I'm going there. I'm getting ready to go in there. Who are you?
I'll be 70 and
No wonder. You play too much.
what?
So, why weren't you in any of the singing aggregations?
I went on now.
Huh?
I went on now.
Stop playing.
I had no interest.
Stop playing. You
I had
have,
no interest in singing.
can you sing?
No.
Who told you couldn't sing?
Me? Everybody.
Well, if you play the organ, then you
I
can
sing
do
and
it.
teach parts. I teach parts
Who you
like the
play
male
for?
chords and
Who you
stuff.
play for?
I'm at Triumph now.
Excuse me.
I'm not by myself. We got two other musicians too. I'm just
You
one.
play every Sunday?
Yeah, I'm just one of three. I'll play something every Sunday.
I feel bad because
no.
all those years
No reason to feel bad.
I haven't paid attention to lesson sons.
No reason to feel bad. Cause I remember when Charles Lyles would come through there.
I was the one that brought him there.
Okay.
Because we sang together. I put that group together when I was about 18. And we sang until I was about, cause I'm a year older than Charles. And they're going to have a big thing for him for his 75th birthday.
So how old are you now?
I'm 75.
75. Okay.
Yeah. And so I've been starting groups since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And speaking of groups, now, Gospel Highway, it doesn't have a headquarters now.
Yeah, we're online only. But
Okay.
you said where is the station?
Yes.
Right at my house,
That's what I thought.
in the garage. Half my garage has keyboards on it, and the other side is the station.
So is it? So that means you have a setup, something like this,
Yep, I got the board. Like
and so the
4
other
computers.
DJs, the announcers, they come to the garage, or they
No.
can do that from their home.
They do it from their home. Because Radio Robin's on in the afternoon.
Help me understand this. I hear this black gospel radio station now, and Radio Robin is there.
That's her station. Black Gospel Promo or something like that.
You making too much noise.
That's her other station. That's her own station. Radio Robin had like,
Is she an IT person?
yeah. She actually, when we went digital, computerized, she set up the whole program that I'm using right now.
So that means she took all that time to go through each LP and load it, and all you have to do is read the name of the thing and just hit it.
Basically. Well, we had a lot of music that was in another system we had. It was called Simeon.
Called what?
Simeon. It's a computer program called Simeon. But Simeon was an older system, and it wouldn't print out any reports. So we had to switch to another system that would print out the reports, for sound exchange, so they can get their money. And so Robin, all that songs that was in Simeon, she transferred it all over to station playlist.
How'd you meet her?
Well, Robin was, she used to listen to the station for years. We were her favorite station. And she...
Who wasn't?
And so she was up in Trenton. The Trenton station just closed down. But she IMG.
I used to work for that radio station.
Yeah, they're done.
Wow.
They're done.
How long ago?
Almost a year now.
Get out of here.
Yep. So Robin was up there. I think I was at an event, and I was calling back to the station to do a live report, and she was just walked up and said, her name was and everything. So I said, "Give me 1 second, I'll be right there with you." So I was doing a live report back to the station, and she said, "That was just, I don't know how you did that." She was just, in her own world, because she was like radio. So I came back, she said, and I said, "My name is," she said, "I know who you are, because I'm from Philly." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Make a long story short, she came to me, I think, wanted to volunteer time or do something. But then she was just kind of hanging out. And then she started hanging out up there in IMG. And I told her, "You got to go." And she says, "Why?" I said, "Because I can't have you here gathering our stuff while you run back up there. I'm not saying that you would do anything, but I can't afford to take that chance, So she said, "I understand." So she always said, "Now, you threw me out the door." But I would listen to her up there. I would do my morning show listening to her from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But when Tim Wicks decided he wanted to quit because he was trying to get a raise, I said, "Any raises around here that they do those raises on an across the board thing. So you can't come to me and say, 'Look, I want a raise.' I said, 'I can't help it.' So he figured, well, I'm out." So when I called her, she came aboard. And she's been there ever since.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Tyrone Bowman live. Come on in for a minute, Fred. Okay, as we close this interview, let's talk about some of the highs and lows of this business that you've experienced.
Some of the highs and lows. I can't say there's been anything that's been like way over the top.
Right.
Because it's still a journey that's in progress. Okay. Some of the lows, I was actually thinking about this coming in. A low blow to me was the Winans were going to be at the New Tech Uptown Theater.
I remember them, yes.
And working along with the promoters and everything. And so, it's always an honor when you get to announce the headliner group.
That's right.
So he said, "We're going to make sure you announce the Winans, And so I was like, "Cool, no problem." So God comes, hand me the mic. He said, "You're up next to announce the Winans, And so he said this other guy was going to announce me. I would announce the Winans. So I'm standing there waiting. The other guy starts talking. He says, "Now the group you've been waiting for, the Winans all the way from Detroit." And I'm standing there going, "What?" My mind is like, well, maybe he's going to call me to announce him the second time. But I'm like, I said, this was not right. But what can you do?
Nothing.
You just,
What's done is done.
yeah, and it's done, and it's stamped in your brain forever.
Because you were going to do it in an entirely different
Entirely
vein.
different.
Right.
I don't know. In my mind,
Yes.
you laughed a little spill, and they gave us this, they gave us that. Try to hype the crowd a little bit. Yeah. And nothing.
It's kind of like the promoters did Georgie Woods back in the day. Georgie Woods was the first one to have the television dance show in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Over WPHL Channel 17.
17.
Then And he was extremely successful with it because he had a diverse interracial audience. And George looked good on camera.
Yeah.
You know, because he was, not only was he smart, but he was a handsome-looking man. So the camera liked George. He was non-threatening and things of that nature, even though he was a civil rights activist. But but he knew how to play the game.
He was a mailman up in New York too.
Yes, that's something.
Yeah, he
Yes.
came by. I was in high school, junior high school.
Yes.
He came in to talk to us. You
And
know?
he was in the service.
Yeah. Like,
His daddy was a preacher.
the man with the goods.
That's what the guy with the goods.
Yeah.
Now, what they did, they pulled the old Flynn family on George. They said, "Well, we want to introduce you to this young man. His name is Dick Clark, and we just want you to show him a couple of things." Next thing you know, they took the show from George and gave it to Dick Clark.
Yeah.
But when they created American Bandstand, it was garbage. It did not work. It straight up, it was garbage, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
American Bandstand did not work.
Especially for us.
Because they had a hard time trying to get black people to come on American Bandstand. And those who came on there were forced by the record labels
Yeah.
to make those appearances.
Because we look like dots in the vanilla ice cream.
Yes, we did. Now, are you convinced within your soul that this has been the plan of God and the will of God for you all along?
Absolutely.
When did that sink in for you?
It sank in, and it's still sinking in. Because, even now, I get up to face an audience, and I was telling my wife the other day, I said, I remember the time when God kept me because I didn't have a backup.
Yes.
I had no one to come in. I couldn't call somebody and say, look, I don't feel good today, and I won't be there.
Yes.
And this went on for like 3 years.
Yes.
I had nobody to call to fill in for me.
Right.
I said,
You were it.
But he kept,
Yes.
Yeah. So I said, I'm grateful, but it's still sinking in. I just can't. I haven't reached that level of comfortability. I still haven't gotten that yet. And it's been going on for 42 years. I've been doing this. I probably never will.
So ultimately, what will your legacy entail? When the books are written, when the stories are told about Fred Blain?
I've said this quite often. My listeners know that my favorite song is "Great Is Our Faithfulness." Because it is morning by morning's new mercies I see. And all I ever wanted to do was play some good music to some people. I never wanted to be general manager, program director, MC programs, none of that. All I want to do, I really like this song. I can't wait to share this song because it's going to bless somebody. I remember one time telling my cousin, I'm going to play a song for you. I guarantee you'll like it. She said, oh, I doubt that. I said, okay, because I knew her,
Yes.
And I played James Cleveland when I've gone the last mile of the way. Because the lady starts singing it kind of slow.
Yes.
Then it goes, and picks it up, and she was tapping her foot and smiling. She said, how did you know? I said, I just know. And in picking songs, I know songs that Bing PD, there's songs that record company used to tell me they want me to play, and I told them no. That's not it. That's when they would sing you the whole album.
Yes.
I would say that I did that right here with Tri-State. Because they had another song they wanted on their album, and I told them, I said, no, If You Come to Him is the song. Oh, no, we want. I said, okay, what you want, but that's not the song for this album. And they finally found out.
That wasn't the song for the album.
Yeah, and they would come back with another album and go, man, you tell us.
That's James Blain, though.
Yeah. James Bowman was the first one who told me I was the morning man.
Look into the camera and tell them where you're located so they know, so they can listen to you daily.
You can find us online, Gospel Highway 11 online only. You can ask your smart speaker to play Gospel Highway 11 radio station. Your Alexa, your Google, whatever speaker you talk to, it talks back to you. Just tell it to play Gospel Highway 11 online. You can also download the Gospel Highway 11 app from your app store, Google or Android. And we're on 24/7, bringing you the best in gospel music. I know a lot of people say that, the best in gospel music.
But they really deliver.
Because I have had distributors upset with me because they want me to play, these promoters want me to play certain songs. And I said, look, my job is to be the gatekeeper for my audience.
Yeah, man.
And if the song, it could be produced very well. The production could be like they say, off the hook, off the chain. But if it's not saying nothing, I'll pass.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, he really sounds good on air. Trust me, I know. And I'm just so honored that you came by
Pleasure's mine.
to sit down and talk with me tonight.
I enjoyed being here.
I told
Yes.
you, what did I tell you? Did I tell you we were going to like it?
Yeah.
I told you we were going to have fun.
Yeah. Like
You know.
like you usually say, don't let this be your last time.
Right. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our time is up for now. You never know who is going to be sitting in the conversation chair with me on Monday nights. So until next time, thank you all for watching. Never surrender, never quit.